G'day, I'm here in Dalmeny, seaside in the lovely Eurobodalla. I'm at the Big Niles brewery with head brewer, Cam White. G'day, Cam.
How you going?
I'm going good, mate. Well, where else would you rather be on a nice day than in a brew shed?
Yeah, well, spend a lot of time here, mate, so I'd probably prefer to be at the beach.
But it's not far. I'm
far.
sure you can sneak out from time to time to get
definitely.
down there and have a paddle.
Yep.
How long have you been down here in Dalmeny?
We've been here for about 2 years. First brewery in the Eurobodalla, so it was a nice project to start off with, and took us a while to get up and running. But we're here now, and happy days, so enjoying every minute of it.
And what lured you here to Dalmeny and the Eurobodalla to start the Eurobodalla's first brewery?
Oh, mate, the Eurobodalla is just amazing. The climate's great. You can go hiking 5 minutes that way. You got the beach 1 minute that way. It's I say to my wife every day, it's good for the soul. We drive the coast road to drop the kids off at school, and just slower pace, mate. It's just awesome.
Well, I've visited a few breweries over the years, Cam, and usually they're tucked away in an industrial. You're in a light industrial area, but it's very rare to look out the roller door of a brewery and see beautiful spotty gum and southern mahogany forest, and you can go hear the ocean in the distance. Yeah, as far as brewery locations go, you got it made here.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bad spot to be, mate. That's for sure. So I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest.
And how does being in the Eurobodalla inform your choices as a brewer?
Well, I really like brewing as a whole because you can be so creative. You know what I mean? You're sure you got to follow the rules of the brewing process, but what you make there's no limit to what you can make. You know what I mean? You can use ingredients a million different ways, come up with a million different things. Fresh, you know what I mean? Local. You can't beat it, mate. Freshest ingredients in one of the most pristine, untouched spots in the whole of Australia. What more is there to it? It's awesome. Love it.
So Cam, you've got a bit of everything here, mate. There's fireplace, there's big TVs, there's brew gear. What actually happens here at the shed?
Well, when the customers aren't here, I'm usually here early in the morning to brew. Okay, it takes about 8 to 10 hours on a brew day. Behind us here is the brew house. Your malted barley goes in there. Hot water tank at the back. Your kettle over this side, so you go from your barley to the kettle, boil, hops in. Big cold tank, cools down the beer, makes it from boiling to yeast pitching temperature into one of the fermenters with the yeast, bubbles away for 3 to 7 days, depending on what style of beer, and then you finish it. So depending on what is a lager, obviously cooler temperatures for a longer period of time. IPAs, hops in the top, all that sort of stuff. Make it cold, fizzy, kegger off, and consume just over there.
All here in one convenient location.
Right.
So if you want it, you've got to come here and get it. You
That's
can't
right.
find it in Dan Murphy's, you can't find it in a bottle shop, you've got to come to Big Niles Brewery.
That's right. Come to the Eurobodalla.
Oh, this camera work's making me so thirsty, Cam. Oh, let's talk on the camera, I'm getting dry. So Cam, I guess the biggest problem for the punter that comes here is, how do you choose?
Yeah, well that's right, and one of the things that I try to do is gauge what people like to drink, when they're at home. I try to have a full spectrum of beer to cater for everyone. People that like simple lagers, pub goers, all the way up to people that like something a bit different. Try to always have that spectrum on tap. So, if someone comes here, can point them in a direction, and if they can find 1 or 2 beers that they like, then I've done my job. So.
Well, Cam, I am a beer enjoyer.
Oh, you're making
But and I'm not fussy, so I'm happy for you to send me on a bit of a beer flight.
No worries. Yeah, easy done. Yeah, we do flights, so I'll sort you out a nice little spectrum of beers and tell me what you think.
My mouth's watering at the prospect. Cam, look at that. It's a beer rainbow.
It is, mate. Yeah. So I love the spectrum of colours. Plays a good part in craft beer.
It even smells amazing. Standing here.
I hope so.
Yeah. The beer rainbow of Dalmeny.
There you go.
What have we got here?
So first guy, this little light fella there, that's our lawnmower lager. He's nice and crisp, easy going. Lawnmower beer is a beer that you can drink all day. So
That's
right
good.
on 4%.
That's crisp.
It is, mate. Yeah, not much to it, but one of the hard beers to make is a lager. It takes more time and nowhere to hide. So if there was, something wrong with that, you'd know about it pretty quick.
And is that because it's on paper, such a simple beer?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And next?
This one I've jumped all the way up to the IPA there, South Coast IPA. So you're going to get hoppy, citrus on the nose. You'll get, some stone fruit and citrus flavours to taste. finished with some malt there. You still get a bit of malt at the back.
Nice crisp bitterness on the end there as
well.
well.
It is, yeah. IPA should be pretty bitter. I think that's about 60 IBUs actually.
Oh.
So,
and then what's this?
Well, now, don't let this one for you. So this is the strongest beer that I make at the moment until I keg the Doghouse, which will be this week. So this is the Imperial Red Ale. You can tell by the colour. I really wanted to get this awesome red colour. Along the lines of an English special bitter, but velvety, very creamy mouthfeel. Pretty big beer it's not hoppy at all. So something very different.
And so that's a high potency beer.
It is.
But it doesn't taste it.
No.
Jeez, you can come unstuck with something like that. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. So the double IPA that I make, which I don't have at the moment, is stronger than that, but it's real hoppy. So again, you can't taste the alcohol content of that.
It's got that beautiful, like sweet, treacly kind of finish on
it.
It's, I could go into this as a gig. Beer taster.
There you go.
What do they do, beer tasters? Do they swirl, or is there in the at the top ends of the industry? You
smell first.
Oh, yep.
Yep.
Caramel.
That's right. And then you taste, and then you taste again.
And again. That's sensational.
It's a pretty popular beer, but it's a sipper, you know what I mean? It's definitely not a session beer.
Yeah.
And then to finish, we have our no stout about it. Typical stout. So you'll get nice coffee flavours, roasted malts in that. Nice and dark, good on a cold day.
Oh yeah.
So it's not a very overly thick body for the stout, it's very light, mouthfeel for a stout, but you still get all those delicious roasted notes, a bit of sweetness from molasses in there. So almost as strong as the Imperial Red, but not quite. So you're in the 7s with that one.
They're complex.
They are.
Stouts, right? There's a lot going on. And that second taste, it starts to open up a bit, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, that's right.
I haven't even got words for what that is in there, that taste. That's why I'd be a crap beer taster because I can't make up the words to go what it is. But yeah, that just keeps giving.
Yeah, so you use a lot of dark roasted malt, so you get kind of chocolate. You've got roasted barley in there, you've still got a nice bit of bitterness. I do use coffee, a bit of molasses in there. So it is a very complex beer. I think there's about eight different types of grains. So your base malts, and then amber malt, crystal malt, roasted barley, caramel pilsner malt, oats, malted oats, rolled oats. So it just keeps going.
And maybe when you come down to visit, you'll be able to try some of these sensational beers. I'm going to cook with some of this, mate.
Yeah, nice. I'm excited.
Keep it pretty simple.
Yep.
But I think I'm going to use that stout to make a really just quick, easy barbecue sauce.
Oh, it sounds good.
Might need a bit more though. So the great challenge when you're at a tap house in a small brewery is, what do you cook? Beer's for drinking, right? It's not something that you generally associate with cooking. So I put the thinking cap on and I'm gonna make a barbecue sauce with some of Cam's stout because it was so complex, it was sweet, it was rich, there was a lot of character to it. So I'm gonna whip it up into a quick barbecue sauce because when you're drinking, there's lots of things that need sauce when you're eating. You're eating chips, you're eating pies, you're doing all that kind of stuff. So a really simple stout barbecue sauce is what I'm gonna do today. So first up, just add a little bit of depth to the bottom of the sauce. I'm going to dice this onion. And the great challenge is, how do you use a sharp knife to finely dice an onion after you've just had 4 beers? 4 small beers, mind you. Don't try this at home, kids. So I'll finely dice that. Pop it in here, nice medium-low temperature. A little bit of oil in the pan to help sweat that onion off. So give that a little bit of a stir. We want it to just lightly start to caramelise. We don't want it to turn crispy or too brown, but just a little bit of caramelisation there from that onion will help complement those complex roasted characteristics with the stout. We've got a bit of garlic punch in there as well. So I add 4 cloves of garlic finely diced, finely chopped. They're a bit small, so we might call it 6. Righto, garlic's nice and fine and on top of the onion. that's it for the chopping. Don't want to do too much today. We just want to make a nice easy barbecue sauce. So I'll keep sweating that onion and the garlic off a little bit more. It's really starting to smell like it's caramelizing up beautifully. I can see it's starting to color just that little bit, very nice. And you know, when you're in a brewery, sometimes you've got to make the most of the resources available. That's a midi. And that's about the same size as a measuring cup, just a little bit bigger. So to our 1 onion, to our 4 or 6 cloves of garlic, I'm going to add half a cup of brown sugar. Or half a midi of brown sugar, in this case, when in Rome. What's that? Oh, it's going to take most of that if I pack it down. Great. Pop that in there. Give it a bit of a stir into the onion. Oh. Now you've got the basis of the barbecue sauce. I've got a little bit of smoked paprika as well, just add a little bit of extra smoky complexity to it. We can see that's kind of bubbling away really nicely. About 2 teaspoons, 1 tablespoon is plenty. Oh. It already smells like a barbecue sauce, it's great. I've got 1 tin of crushed tomatoes there, super simple. Straight in on top. Oh yes. And then, I really like to add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce to my barbecue sauces. Just again to add that little bit of extra complexity. 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Now, whenever we're using sauces like tomato sauce, barbecue sauce, we don't really think about using that much, but really what we're doing is we're trying to introduce an acidic medium to something that's usually really high in fat in order to make it sing. So I've got a little bit of apple cider vinegar there. I'm going to add about about 1/4 of a cup of apple cider vinegar to that, just to give it a bit of tang. And then the only thing that's missing out of this now is a pint of stout. So let me just go and sort that out. I can still pour a beer. And then we come to the very difficult decision of whether to pour this fantastic pint of stout into a barbecue sauce or to drink it. But today, I'm taking one for the team, and this beer is taking one for the team, and it's going into the barbecue sauce. So about 2 cups of stout beer into that recipe as well. Oh, very nice. So that's smelling amazing. But at the moment, we just pour 2 cups of pure liquid in there. So it's a bit, you know, that's not really a barbecue sauce, is it? It's kind of like a stout beer with tomato in it. So what we're going to do, turn the temp up a little bit. And reduce that, I'm going to say for about 15-20 minutes, and then we're going to have our very own, very simple stout barbecue sauce we made right here in the Big Niles brewery. Might even have to track down a pie to put it on top of. In the meantime, while that's reducing, I guess I better make myself busy around the brewery. I think there was a couple of, may have been a couple of beers left half finished there on my paddle a bit earlier, so I'll keep a close eye on that and kick my feet up in the meantime. So that's been simmering away for about 15 minutes now, and we've got a totally different kettle of fish now. Look at that. So whereas before it was runny and essentially just like a beer with a bit of tomato in it, now we've got a thick, aromatic, delicious barbecue sauce made with Big Niles stout. And I'm actually finding it very hard to talk right now because my mouth is watering so much because of the smell of this barbecue sauce. And you know, I know usually you're meant to have tomato sauce with a pie. I'm ready to break tradition, especially given how delicious this barbecue sauce is. And look at that, I'm gonna pour a little bit of that beautiful Big Niles stout barbecue sauce on top of the pie. Bob's your uncle. But if you really want to get the best of Big Niles Brewery, don't turn it into a barbecue as delicious as this is, come down to Dalmeny, come to the tap room, have a taste, let Cam take you on a flight of beer, and kick back and enjoy yourself. Oh, that's so good. It's tough work, but someone's got to do it. I say scrap the tomato sauce. No more tomato sauces on pies. It's all about the barbecue sauce with stout. That's sensational. Eurobodalla. Why would you go anywhere else?